It's time for the Jay Foreman postgame show.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
A look to the left, and he kind of telegraphed it all the way. When the ball was tipped, Foreman's in the right spot.
Sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Tavern 180, Vinny Creekhack of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
Here's Fuente dropping back, fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Black Shirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alrighty, there you have it. Nebraska 2-0 here in 2024 as Nebraska gets the victory over Colorado 28-10. This is the Jay Foreman postgame show, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Shout out to our sponsors, our friends of the show, the program, Anderson Ford of Lincoln, Vinny Creekhack, and State Farm Insurance, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electric, Tavern 180, and Tanner's Bar and Grill. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you. Jay will join us in approximately 10 minutes or so as he makes his way from Memorial Stadium. How about that one? Nebraska 28-10 over the Colorado Buffaloes. Nebraska 2-0 in year two of Matt Rule. 2-0 under Dylan Raiola as the starting quarterback. Nebraska, some of the statistics in this one, dominated the first half, took that 28-0 lead into the locker room, and then Colorado was the only team that found points in the second half, scored 3 in the third and a touchdown later in the fourth quarter. Dylan Raiola finishes 23 of 30 through the air, 185 yards and 1 touchdown. Shadur Sanders, who was subbed out of the game early and then taken back to the locker room, I think it was to just avoid maybe running into people. I have some thoughts on that, by the way, when we get going here. Shadur finishes 23 of 38, 244 through the air, 1 touchdown, and then that 1 interception. That was big. Great snag by Tommy Hill on the outside to eventually return it for a touchdown. Austin Norman will send it to you, but also 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo channel 961, all places for you guys to get in touch. Leave a comment, drop a like, make sure you do all that stuff for us. And with that, Austin, 28-10, Nebraska gets the win. What are your initial thoughts?
They did it. They did what they had to do. You know, Nebraska had to find a way to win this game. And I don't want to take us all the way back to the first half. It was a long time ago. I don't want to get bogged down in the second half. The 28-10 is both probably a bigger margin of victory than it would indicate, but also maybe smaller, I think, right? Nebraska dominated for 30 minutes of football more than we've seen in a long time.
Very much so.
And then it was just running out the clock, right? I don't know how much of what Nebraska did in the second half was play not to lose. I don't know how much of it was impacted by penalties. I don't know how much of it was on, lack of execution by Nebraska or Colorado just being better in the second half. That's a prideful group. They were going to come out with something to prove. They weren't just going to roll over. Nebraska had to earn any points it was going to put on the board in the second half. Ends up being none. It looks like a lackluster second half, certainly not as awe-inspiring as the first half, but 28-10 is 28-10. It's still a 3-possession win for Nebraska in a game it had to have. Maybe Colorado goes on to a bowl game, maybe they don't. But Nick, we know how much this game meant to this fan base, and how much it could mean for the team going forward. I don't want to be disappointed in the win. It just feels like it's going to be hard for the fan base to enjoy it because of how much of a slog it was in the second half.
It did feel like the second half kind of took a toll. And I want to take that and be cautious with how we maybe word this, because a win is a win, right? And they've been slim to none. They've been hard to come by in the last couple of seasons. But yeah, you're right. That second half, sloppy. We just got that text in just a couple of seconds ago as well. And I'll reiterate it, right? Second half was sloppy. There was a lot of, and maybe it's this, it felt like for a moment, Nebraska maybe took their foot off the gas, but maybe also they drew up some creative plays, and I'm thinking most importantly, the one to like Ja'Cory Barney Jr. Here's the thing. Those look worse and we forget about those because they got taken back from penalties. That's where the sloppiness comes into play. So then the rest was just vanilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Nebraska trying to play with a little bit of a lead. Also, here's the thing. As well as Nebraska's defense played, you're still playing against a really, really talented offense. With when you're talking about receivers on the perimeter, Travis Hunter, those guys are man-to-man beaters. They just are.
Yeah.
And Nebraska can play incredible on the defense, but one little slip up makes that a very, very different type of ball game, right? Mm-hmm. You can talk about the refs. We'll have those conversations. Nebraska, for the most part, especially in the first half, controlled what they can control. They got a turnover, the big one by Tommy Hill. Great athletic catch by Tommy Hill for the interception and the pick six. And ultimately, the crowd was phenomenal, but Nebraska didn't let the moment get too big. I felt like and Dylan Raiola once again showed us he was settled in from the start, really, and it wasn't too much for them. The lights weren't too bright.
No, not in the slightest. And in that second half, when Nebraska needed a spark, it looked to its big play guys, right? Nebraska targeted Jamal Banks a couple times. Looked like pass interference balls.
Yeah.
Got one, didn't get another one. They got the ball to Ja'Cory Barney Jr., wiped out by a questionable at best hold on Ramir Johnson. And that was one of my biggest worries about this team coming into the year, Nick, both offensively and defensively. When Nebraska gets stuck in a rut, who does Marcus Satterfield go to? Yeah. Who do they go to? They put the ball in Dylan Raiola's hands. Do they give it to a running back? Which receiver do they go to? It looks like Ja'Cory Barney is going to be the spark plug when Nebraska needs a big play. That's when they got creative to get him over the middle in single coverage, let him outrun a guy. He looks like he's the guy they're going to go to, right? Nate Borkacher had the big catch,
That's
right?
true.
To get Nebraska from 2nd and 24 to first down on one play like that. And years past, 2nd and 24 is kind of a death knell for this team, right? It's, oh crap, what are they going to do? Especially in a rivalry game. Oh, is this where the lights get too big?
Yeah.
Is this the drive? This is where Nebraska doing what it did in the first half was so key for the second half. It's still complimentary football, right? If football's a game of runs, I still think this was a game played in Colorado's style, right? Nebraska had the big run in the second half, and Colorado had its moments in the second half. They moved the ball better because, to your point, Travis Hunter's good. But Travis Hunter, Dallin Hayden at times, 5 carries for 32 yards. He looked good. I don't know why Colorado didn't get him the ball sooner, but Nebraska earned the right to run out the clock by what it did in the first half. Should it have gotten to 28? Nebraska was lucky to get it to 28, right, with the Ramir Johnson catch. Yeah. But Nebraska also missed plenty of other opportunities. So the best way I think that I can describe it is mixed bag. Plenty of good, plenty left to improve on.
402-464-5685. We will hear from Matt Rule. I also want to hear from Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, as well, if we can get some of his audio throughout the postgame show, because I am interested. It is a celebration. I don't want to rain on the parade, if so to speak. And Cody from Broken Bow chimes in on the text line. Boys, I don't care. We kicked some butt, he says. They gave up at the half. We are on the right track. Be happy, GBR. And I get that point, right? But our job in this scenario is to kind of dissect what we saw. And for the most part, I don't have a single complaint for the first 2 quarters, Austin. I seriously don't. There is not one single thing that I think I would change from Nebraska's first half.
Probably fair. The Tristan Alvano missed kick is still worrying.
Which we're going to certainly get to that. Because I made a tweet that you commented on too.
But you make up for it by blocking one of your own, right? That's a moment where it was what? It would have been 17-0. Nebraska misses a field goal.
Yeah.
Colorado tried to kick a field goal and cut it to 14-3, which, make a 2-possession game a 2-possession game. But at the same time, that's a player stepping up and making a play. Colorado is grasping for straws, looking for something, anything. You could tell it was going to be Nebraska's night when that ball bounced to Ramir Johnson, right? You want to nitpick on Dylan Raiola and say, dude, you can't throw that ball like that over the middle. That's a dumb decision. But guess what? It worked out. So this is a game, too, kind of like UTEP, Nick, where if we come across as negative, we don't want to come across as harsh because the result is good. The result is entirely positive. Nebraska did everything we could have asked it to do and more, especially in that first half. But then what was the process in the second half? Even if it didn't work out, was Nebraska calling an okay play? Did the decision-making make sense? And can we break down the decision-making? Because even if it didn't come back to bite Nebraska today, if they get into a fourth quarter game against Rutgers, will it come back to bite them, for example?
I think here's kind of the thought before we get to phone calls. By the way, we're open for phone calls all show long, 402-464-5685. I think a lot of this, too, was Husker fans, and I think for us who cover the team, we want to see consistency. We do, right? Like, and no Husker fan can argue with that sentiment. I think a lot of us want to see consistency, and the part that we did not get any bit of consistency was last week when Nebraska took the lead into the half, right? They came out, and I remember sitting here, and it was with you and eventually with Jay, where it was, hey, you know what? Yeah, Nebraska kind of handled their business. It wasn't maybe perfect in the first half against UTEP, but they looked settled in. Number one, they took a lead into the break, and then they came out, and it never really felt like they were on cruise control. Yeah, maybe they were a little more conservative, but you played more. Maybe you played smarter with the lead, but it was never like, man, it feels like Nebraska's kind of taking their foot off the pedal here tonight. It wasn't that they were necessarily on cruise control or that they were taking their foot off the pedal, but we saw mistakes creep in. We saw flashes. The penalties were a serious problem. If Nebraska, let's just play a hypothetical game for just a moment before we get to Patrick from Mississippi on the phone lines. Let's play the hypothetical game of, and I get it, like, what's the point of this? The hypothetical game of Nebraska doesn't get the touchdown with Ramir Johnson, where it probably should have been a pass, or an interception, right? And Colorado then gets that field goal, right? There's certainly things that we can change. If this is a 2-possession game, or if this is a 28-17 ball game with 6 minutes left in the game, you're sitting there going, okay, Nebraska's really got to get their things figured out. Well, fortunately enough, they didn't score the touchdown until, later in the fourth quarter, and it was 28-3 for the most part. You felt pretty comfortable about it. There was a lot of sloppy things. It wasn't necessarily that Nebraska let their foot off the gas or played conservative. It was more so they just played undisciplined.
I think that's fair. We'll get to Patrick. This is just going to be really short. 28-10, even though I said it was played Colorado style, yes. I think 28-10 is probably about the score range Nebraska wanted. But I think in Matt Rule's ideal world, it's maybe 14 points in one quarter and then a touchdown in each quarter in the second half,
Absolutely.
Right? Scoring 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and second quarter. Great. You take a 28-point lead. That's huge. You get the crowd rocking.
Yeah.
But I think for Matt Rule, you want it to be consistent, right? This was not a consistently clean game for Nebraska. So if you tell me Nebraska wins 28-10 by scoring a touchdown in all 4 quarters, I think Matt Rule's more satisfied with that because you didn't get into a long rut. Someone made a big play to snap you out of it, whatever. But I think because of how high the first half was and how low the second half was, there's going to be a lot of coaching points.
402-464-5685. We'll get to every single one of your guys' texts. And don't forget, don't worry, YouTube stream, Facebook's comment section. We will get to you guys as well. We'll make sure that all your guys' voices are heard throughout the course of the show. Frankly, here's the thing. Jay will come in. He'll hang out for a little bit. I'm sure at least, I know for a fact he'll be here at least an hour. I'm honestly, as long as you guys want to go, we can go. Let's do this. Let's go to our first caller of the night after Nebraska wins 28-10 over the Colorado Buffaloes. Patrick from Mississippi is on the line. What's on your mind, Patrick?
Hey, guys, longtime listener, huge Husker fan here in South Mississippi. 100% agree with you guys. It's like we took our foot off the gas pedal. We went in. Yes, we went in with a lead, but we didn't do anything third quarter or fourth quarter. Defense came and played. That was obvious. But I 100% agree with you guys. They came out flat, in my opinion. But I'm not going to be a Sunday morning quarterback or a Monday morning quarterback. Hopefully they'll learn from it. And, we're on to, UNI next week. Hopefully it's a better showing in the third and fourth quarter then, man. I'll take my listen offline.
Thanks, Patrick. Appreciate you listening all the way from Mississippi.
I'll say this, Nick. Yes, the second half is disappointing. There's a lot to get to there. But at the same time, let's just look at that 94 team or even 95 team, right? They earned the right to coast. Now, being up 28-0, only 4 possessions against a big play offense like Colorado's, you don't feel great about it. Again, you made it work. You found a way to get through with it. But Nebraska also, I think, earned a little bit of the right to be vanilla, right?
Yeah.
To not put more on film than you needed to ice the game. A little bit of creativity, but the fact that Nebraska was able to keep it so bland is disappointing now in the moment. But at the same time, what did they not use? What pitch did they not show that they can keep to close out a Big Ten game in the third or fourth quarter?
So a lot of differing opinions on the text line, on the streams, whether or not, and how we're handling this, Austin. There's a lot of differing opinions of this. One is that people are agreeing with us. People are like Patrick, who was on the phone, said that he agrees with us 100%. There's others like Shane and Waverly that says, you guys are killing me right now. I understand dissecting, but you guys are now nitpicking. Your coverage should match the mood of the win. We have never said that we're sad, we're mad, we're pissed off, we're disappointed. Nebraska's 2-0. This is uncharted waters right now in the last couple of years for Nebraska football. We're not getting that. We're saying that from a consistency standpoint, it wasn't as sloppy in the second half in week one as it was maybe tonight in the second half.
It just feels like winning a baseball game after a rain delay. You know, you're up so big and then you have to pause. It's unfortunate because this should have been a party night. Up 28-0. You know, this could have been 40-something, heaven forbid, 50-something over Colorado. And if you win by that many possessions, absolutely, it is a party. We are on here having the time of our lives, but I'm not going to generate fake enthusiasm and go overboard with hype when there's so much to clean up. Yes, it is a win over Colorado. It is worthy of celebration. And that's why I'm almost a little disappointed I'm not more excited, because we were on pace to have one of the best post-game shows, most exciting post-game shows of all time. It's just hard to remuster that energy after having to watch that last 30 minutes of football.
I'll be 100% honest. I'm partying. I'm excited. This is a great. I'm not saying that everything's perfect. And with that, let's go ahead and bring in Jay Foreman, the Husker Hall of Famer. What's up, Jay?
What up?
How we feeling?
Good. I mean, it's
here you go.
What? I mean, it's Nebraska's 2-0, dude. I mean, I get it. I
yes.
mean, it's the fact that it might have been the longest second half in college football history with 22 penalties and stuff. But at the end of the day, Nebraska's been on this other side of a lot of penalties and not finishing games and losing. So, you got to look at, number one, the object is to win the game. Number one. So you need to be excited about that. And that's all that matters right now. But now what's also more important, and it is actually, I'm on the flip side, it's a positive. If there ever was a positive of having penalties, I guess I call it whipped cream on horse, is that, yes, you're going to be able to pat yourself on the back and you just won a night game and you literally kick Colorado's ass. But actually, if I'm Coach Rule, I'm like, look, I'm going to have your attention. There's no way you're going to be able to get big-headed after this. I'm going to congratulate you on beating them because you beat the brakes off them. Wasn't even close as the score indicated. But then also I can get your attention. I can keep your attention because I can go back to this game that we won 18 points. And we should have won by 28, 30 points, right? So then, but we didn't. So I can actually coach and congratulate off that second half because I can coach and congratulate off of the huge run of Ramir and say, okay, this is what we need to do in practice or a half a step to take that whistle out of the ref's mouth, right? So it's not a holding. We can work on the plethora of other penalties, and some of them are subjective as far as, the one hit on Shador and all this other stuff. But we can work on ourselves. And sometimes when another team is playing a little bit more sloppy and desperate, it just rubs off on you. And you see that a lot of times in basketball when they get in helter-skelter. So ultimately, it's should be a lot of excitement. I mean, I know it should be. It's Colorado. Was it Ohio State? No, but it's still Colorado. They're a well-known program. We just lost to them last year. Hadn't beat them consistently for quite some time.
We can talk about that because I think one interesting angle to this is the growth in the two programs from last year to this year. And it maybe starts at the quarterback, but I want to get Jay's thoughts on that. We have calls waiting as well that we're going to get to. We're going to answer them during the break as well. And we'll get all of Jay's thoughts when we come back. It's the Jay Foreman postgame show. Chime into the show, 402-464-5785. 5685. We'll step aside, come right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own. Always in the driver's seat, huh? Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
With a wide variety of menu options, including the best prime and Wagyu steaks in Lincoln, if you haven't been to Tavern 180, you're missing out. Try any of their steak options paired with one of their well-known martinis, and this will soon become your favorite date night spot. Call your friends for a casual get-together where steak, shrimp, chicken, and tasty cocktails await your arrival. Tavern 180, located next door to Tanner's at 30th and Yankee Hill.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Landmark Implement helps you put dirt in its place with increased accuracy and greater speed thanks to the John Deere Smart Grade. This fully integrated 3D grade control system boosts job site productivity and reduces labor costs with fewer passes and less wasted material, meaning more bids won and higher margins. No masts, no cables, just clear views of the job site. Visit your local Landmark Implement today and discover the profit-boosting power of the Smart Grade and experience the Landmark difference.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at USC in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at huskerfantravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a downtown LA hotel, exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at USC. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at huskerfantravel.com.
Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. Personal banking like you remember.
Home. It's more than a place. It's a feeling. This is Eric Bertrand with Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. If you're looking for a place to call home, call me. Let's review your financing options and get you into the home of your dreams. Proudly serving Husker fans.
Personal banking like you remember.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
At Anderson Auto Group, we know your time is valuable. That's why, as part of our Experience Better process, we're pairing you up with a guide. It's one person dedicated to helping you from start to finish, making the process faster and easier. No more waiting, frustration, or spending countless hours at the dealership. At Anderson Auto Group, we want to help you take your time back and get you in the perfect vehicle. Contact us to get paired with a guide today. Experience Better at Anderson Auto Group.
This show's pretty rockin', huh?
Yeah, I'm so glad my State Farm agent helped me go.
Huh?
My State Farm agent. They help me with options to personalize my auto insurance to get a great rate that fits my budget, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Wow. Hey, so do you think I could get your State Farm agent's number?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Ready to hit the road in style? Liberty First Credit Union is revving up your ride with unbeatable auto loan specials. Cruise away with rates as low as 4.79% APR for 48 months on a 2020 or newer vehicle. Need a longer term? No worries. They've got you covered with 4.89 APR for 60 months and 4.99 APR for 72 months. Hurry, these rates are cruising fast, so don't get left in the dust. Visit LibertyFirstCU.com. Credit factors apply. Rates, terms, and conditions subject to change.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Jay Foreman postgame show. Sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Tavern 180, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman postgame show brought to you by Vinnie Kreekak, Action Plumbing, Elway Sports, Anderson Lincoln, and Tavern 180. A lot going on. Obviously, we got a couple callers waiting. But Nick, you were asking me about the difference in there real quick. What a year makes, right? And
yeah.
Here it just comes down to this. And first before we get out, big shout out to the university. Great job on 94 team being
reunion, 30 years.
30-year reunion. Had us out there. And then obviously, they just pretty much replicated what we used to do against Colorado. And then number two, it's a rivalry game. So they're going to try to battle all the way to the end. And that's particularly when a team gets desperate, they get sloppy. And that can, kind of affect how you play. Now, there's no excuse. And I'm sure Coach Rule and those guys are going to be excited to get back and coach them up on it. But the difference in a team in a year or two is, here's what I felt. I felt like for where Colorado was last year, especially going into the second game, you go down to beat a TCU team that was in complete transition and ripe for the picking, and they beat them pretty good, and they should have probably beat TCU better, but it still was kind of almost UCF like when they were playing Memphis and it was 54-53 or whatever the score was. So they were ripe for the picking. Then they get to play Nebraska at home. And they got to play Nebraska at the best time to play Nebraska. Quarterback troubles, new coaching staff, so forth. And they had it, but they brought a lot of players. The consistency was there, and also they were humming at that time. On the flip side, I feel like this was finally for Nebraska to play a team in an intense moment, national stage. We're playing them at the right time.
Yeah.
Why? And before we get into it. It just comes down purely to the offensive line. This is what people need to worry about, the portal. The portal works the best when I like to call it, you can shop a la carte. Mm-hmm. I need a running back, I go to get, like Alabama, I go get the best. I need a number one receiver, I go get him. I need a corner, I need this. When you go in and you have one offensive line that was porous, you don't develop the guys behind them because you're looking to get guys out of the portal, then you have no continuity. There's one position in football that needs time, you need to develop, and they need continuity and consistency in coaching, techniques, and playing together. And that's what it comes down to. And it's the difference of a team where I think right now, when you look at Colorado, they are probably where Nebraska was last year. The only difference is they have a really, really good quarterback and just them struggled a little bit. But overall, I think they're trying to still, because they're playing start over again. They reset it every year. Nebraska took their lumps, and then you saw something, what was it, October, and then we needed to learn how to finish. And so that's where, the program, two different programs are where you actually address some of the issues that you had in the offseason.
Yeah.
And you have tangible results. Even though it's not perfect, you can see that obviously there's been some progress.
402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Let's go to the Honda of Lincoln Hotline. No, we don't. Let's try this one. We have Tommy. Tommy, are you still there, my man?
Yes, sir.
There you go. What's on your mind?
So I have a question about our matchup with the Fighting Illini coming up. I don't know if you caught the Kansas Illini game today, but Kansas had four total turnovers. The Illini had 271 total yards, 172 passing, 79 rushing with one turnover. And the time of possession was almost equal. And so I just wanted to know how we match up based off of the fact that everyone was expecting us to be able to have these turnovers in this game against Colorado. And then last thing I want to say is just go Big Red.
All right, Tommy. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Tommy. Jay, how does Nebraska match up with Illinois in 2 weeks?
Yeah, in 2 weeks. Yeah, we played Northern Iowa before that, so let's worry about that matchup. But and no time to really celebrate. The 24-hour rule is literally probably 24-minute rule for Tommy. But the little I watched Illinois their first game, and it's no different. They're probably a little bit more explosive offensively, or at least they looked like it in the first game. They're going to try to run it, control the line of scrimmage, and so look, the schedule is set up potentially for it to be a really, really good start, and then you got to really, really button up and knuckle down to finish strong. But ultimately, it's a 12 1-week seasons. You want to be consistent. You're going to have to address issues or get better at things every single week. And so the most important game is the next game, which is Northern Iowa. But, look, you can celebrate this to the morning, and then, we get through Northern Iowa, and then you really, really focus on Illinois on a short week because you're playing Friday night. So, there's a lot of things you got to get into and make sure you handle before you worry about an opponent 2 weeks from now.
I do want to say this. Last year, since we were talking about differences from one year to the next year, turnovers certainly were for Nebraska. There was a stretch last year in the game in Boulder where Nebraska went fumble, punt, missed field goal, fumble, interception, punt on their first 7 possessions last game.
Yeah.
Now Nebraska, after their second game of 2024, they've won the turnover or the turnover battle in both games. And that's one of the big focal points this offseason.
It was a first and foremost, obviously fumbles or turnovers, but the turnover margin, and which has been an issue in Nebraska for like almost a decade.
Absolutely.
But actually you have a, coach and a staff that really, really, honed in on it. It also helps. You have just through 2 games now, you have an 18-year-old quarterback, a true freshman that knows how to handle the ball, and he understands even from back in high. If you go and watch him back in high school, instead of focusing on where you went to high school, focus on how you played football. He knows the importance of playing keep away from the defense, and so that gives you a fighting chance with a veteran-led defense that picking up right where they started off last year or finished last year on a good note. So, and then you can create more turnovers because you pin teams, their backs against the wall. You put them in advantageous positions for your defense and your defensive coordinator and execution. And then also another year under the defense, you're able to create some turnovers and stuff like that, cause fumbles and go the extra mile because the confidence just doesn't, sit in that offensive room with, them playing more and being more efficient as far as not turning the ball over. It pours over to defense and to special teams and throughout the whole team. So they're doing a good job on that right now.
Let's go back to the phone lines. I believe this is Amy in Atlanta. Is that? I apologize if I mispronounced it. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's Ernie.
Ernie. Sorry about that, Ernie.
Yeah. So it's like ERNY.
Yep. Ernie, what's up?
Hey, I was just calling in. If you guys are still taking calls, my dad was a quarterback on the '62 team who started the sellout streak, and so I'm coming up to see the game. The Illinois game for the 400th. And nice. I watched Dylan play 5 times last year at Buford. And it was just like a positive call. If you guys are still taking calls, I was just going to give them a little love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Go
okay.
ahead, Ernie. You're on the air, my man.
I am. Okay. Hey, guys. Well, Jay, super happy to say hi to you guys. I saw Dylan play 5 times last year at Buford. So it was like the greatest Christmas present I could have possibly gotten when he flipped from Georgia here in Atlanta to my Red Huskers. My dad played on the 62 team. He was a backup quarterback and a baseball pitcher. And so he led the team out, 15 years ago when we had the 300 consecutive sellout. And I'm coming in town to represent for the Illinois game. And so just seeing Dylan play in high school, and I've met the family because his brother obviously is the quarterback now at Buford. And I know Jay from, previous following you over the last year. Like, them obviously very well, and you know what a quality guy is. And just to see them shut Colorado down the way they did, and the way everybody has handled things so professionally and amazing under Matt Rule, I know you guys got to be excited. And when I saw Dominic after his son won a game a couple weeks ago, I told him, like, we really haven't had anything to cheer about in 25 years since he played here. I mean, except for Sue trying to single-handedly win the Big 12 championship with no offense, we have had things to cheer about. I don't mean it like that, but I just like that we're back into a national relevance, and I'm sure you guys do too. And I'll yield to you, and I look forward to coming in town in 2 weeks from Atlanta.
Thanks, Ernie. Appreciate the phone call. All right, Jay. So I'll ask that because you and I had the conversation of handling success, right? And Nebraska hasn't been in a spot where their rosters had to handle success the last couple of years, decades, right? So I would ask you this, has this win against Colorado done anything for them? In terms of handling success, teaching them how to handle success?
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, look, I don't know when the last time we won back-to-back games is. It hadn't been I mean, last year I think we might have, but prior, through different regimes that haven't handled success, and success can be into the eyes of the beholder or what's created around you, right? You play one good game, they anoint you to the best of all time. You have one victory, then you're back, or you have game day here, then you're back, and then you end up falling on your face. So, yeah, they could take a lot from this. Look, there was a lot of pressure into this game for this team, a lot of pressure, and they answered the bell because what pressure was there, and it has nothing to do with the '94 team 30-year reunion. They had a like Ernie said, they flipped the number one quarterback or the number one player to come here, early enrollee. His dad is a legacy player. He's his numbers or his name is up in the stadium. He's a great player. And his uncle's an offensive line coach. He's a great offensive line coach himself and was a great player himself. And Donnie, and he comes. And then you have a couple transfer portal gets. And then you have, guys stick around and potentially not go to the NFL. And Tony White comes back. So everything that you could have. And then also, let's not forget, everybody start picking and, wins and losses based on the schedule, based on the assumption that we're possibly going to be better. Well, then that's pressure because you win the first game like you're supposed to. So you do what you're supposed to do. And then people try to nitpick at that. Then here comes Colorado, who played a probably harder opponent than we did in week 1. They didn't look good, but still they got, at least 2 first-round picks. Probably, Horn is going to be in top 3.
Yes.
Shiloh, too. So you got a lot of NFL dudes over there. And plus, you got the greatest corner of all time and a lot of stuff coming with him. So the pressure's there. And it's Colorado. So you got to think about that all week. And it's a night game. And you have extremely young offense that needs to still mature. And they answer. So everything that they've worked on and said they wanted to work on it, albeit not perfect, that's still improvement. So they can take that, they can handle success. Now you got to continue to handle success week in and week out. Because if you continue to do that, and handling success isn't just say, okay, I'm just shutting out the outside noise. Handling success is continuing to put yourself in hard situation in practice, not being comfortable, studying, sacrificing, working hard, and then going out there playing for a bigger purpose than yourself. You got to do that's handling success. Don't change anything. Get better at what you were working on the week prior, and then your next thing you have a pretty good season.
Let's go to the phone lines one more time before we go to break. We have Kim on the line. Kim, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Hey guys, I'm just wondering. It was a great win by Nebraska. What do you guys think about our offensive play calling throughout the entire game? I just wonder if there was a point that we were trying to continue to pass the ball on early downs, first and second down. I mean, I'm not going to question what we're doing because it was effective in this game, but I just wonder if we were trying to prove a point that was possibly unnecessary, especially when Colorado's defensive line was their weak point, and we were gashing them for like 8-10 yards a pop. I just didn't understand the point of trying to pass the ball so much and allow Dylan to roll out and put him under consistent pressure, especially the way Colorado's taking cheap shots at our guys. I'm not questioning our OC yet, but if we still see games where it looks like we're trying to prove a point instead of just letting the game play out, I'm going to start to question him. I trust Rule. I just do not trust our OC yet. Dylan's a stud. Thanks, guys. Go Huskers.
Appreciate it, Kim. Let me provide some facts, context before I let Jay run wild with this. Nebraska attempted 30 passes. They had 35 rushes as a team on the day as well. They averaged 4.3 yards per carry as a team as well. Dante Dowdell led the team, 17 carries, 74 yards, and 2 scores. Like I said, Dylan Raiola, 23 of 30 for 185 and a touchdown. No interceptions for number 15 for the Huskers.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I guess it's a good problem to sit up here and worry about the play calling when you win because you're looking for perfection. But you just need to pump the brakes here. I mean, very easily. Last year after 2 weeks we were 0-2 and wondering if we were ever going to get it past the 50. And so, look, I think I kind of look at it like, sure, we could have ran the ball more, but I felt like, hey, look, man, these dudes on defense is garbage. I could just call anything. I mean, I don't think Satterfield was saying that, but for me, I was like, dude, you guys can't do anything. I'm just going to do what I want. Yeah. Now, of course, you want to continue to build consistency and all this other stuff, but you're worried about the play. I mean, I get it. It's a good problem to have. I'm not worried about it yet. I haven't lost trust in it yet. I felt like in a weird way, you dominated too much. Like they scored 28-0. Obviously, we make the field goal, it's 30-31-0. Yes, we had the lucky bounce, but I also feel like you create your own luck when you continue to play through the echo of the whistle, which Ramir did. And then, it's a questionable holding call on a 60-70 yard run. So I think it's even Steven. So, I think, the play calling and all that stuff. Yeah, sure. You can go through a lull. Every play. Look, there is not a perfect play caller out there. There is not. There isn't, because they're human. I've played for, Coach McBride, who I think is one of the best defensive coordinators of all time. And he'll tell you there's probably a couple games that he probably didn't call his best game, but we overcame it. Or there's a couple things that he probably wish he had back, and I'm sure Coach Osborne does as well. So, I mean, it's, I'm not going to worry about the play calling just yet.
I would also say with that play calling, I was looking through the drive chart and going in chronological order for Nebraska. The penalties, the holding calls certainly were a blip on the radar, but I would also say this as I'm navigating the chronological drives in order. What if I told you that the first 2 plays of every single drive Nebraska had in the second half were a run play? They were. I'm saying for the people that want to say, run the ball more, because we've gotten some texts of, I was disappointed we didn't run the ball more in the second half. Nebraska did. Unfortunately, though, they would get it negated or taken away because of a holding call, and then that puts them in a second down and 16, and it makes it tough for Marcus Satterfield or for anybody to kind of do their thing.
Yeah, and also you got to think the short passes is just an extension of the run game. So, I mean, they were trying to do it a different way.
And they did that with Ja'Cory Barney late in the game a couple of times.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I understand.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's I think the amount of runs, it also, you got to execute it at a better rate at times, too. Now, listen, you have to understand, like, Colorado's allowed to make adjustments. They got gashed in the first. I mean, they got embarrassed pretty much, right? I mean, it's like a teaching tape for blocking in the first half. So in the second half, it appeared to me that they were doing some more run blitzes and selling out. So it was kind of feast or famine. I think it's, could we block better? Sure. But they were playing the run a little bit more. And then obviously when you have a big run or you have what was the one that went to their sideline, and I think Bonner got the holding call.
Yeah. Kind of tripped over the dude.
And, that's kind of in basketball, they call it a bang, bang play. Then now instead of a first down and then some, you're back behind the chains. And so I think it's just one of those things that you got to, look at it with a real clear lens. Now you got to clean up the penalties, and that changes. So how many penalties did Nebraska end up having? 12? And how many?
I can check it real quick here.
And a high number of those were in the second half.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you just say, okay, the ones that are obvious, right? There's a couple of holdings or whatever.
Yeah, Nebraska had 12 penalties, 3 on defense, 9 on offense.
Okay, so if you take those 9, now this is if, and everybody be drunk, but say the ones that were close to going either way, offensively, 3 of those, it changes. That adds 5 more run plays and probably 2 more pass plays.
Yeah.
Because instead of being 2nd and 20, you're 2nd and 2. Well, that's a run, probably most likely a run play, or you're probably going to medium to maybe taking a shot pass play. You get that, then now you're back on schedule. So I think in the second half, they got a little bit off of rhythm and off schedule.
Yeah, Nebraska in the second half, in the first half, had just 2 penalties on offense. The other 7 came in the third and fourth quarters combined. So it's certainly a lopsided in terms of penalties there for Nebraska offensively. All right, Jay, send us to break, my man. Let's hear from Matt Rule when we get back.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, come back, listen to Matt Rule, Jay Foreman post-game show. We'll be right back.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at USC in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at HuskerFanTravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a downtown LA hotel, exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at USC. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at HuskerFanTravel.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel building systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
This is Chris Elger, loan originator at Lincoln Federal. With over 20 years in the industry, I have found it's extremely gratifying to solve my customers' home financing needs and then show them the options and strategies available for them to fulfill their goals. But my biggest reward comes when I watch my valued customers experience the American dream of home ownership and move into their new home. Talk with me about your home loan at Lincoln Federal and Go Big Red. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Personal banking like you remember.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the best place in Lincoln for a casual get-together, best place to watch a game, and the best for pre- and post-game. Catch college and NFL football as well as the volleyball action this season at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. What's better than wings, cold beer, and a Husker win? Enjoy great food and drink specials every day and tons of TVs to catch all the action. Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
At Anderson Auto Group, we know your time is valuable. That's why, as part of our Experience Better process, we're pairing you up with a guide. It's one person dedicated to helping you from start to finish, making the process faster and easier. No more waiting, frustration, or spending countless hours at the dealership. At Anderson Auto Group, we want to help you take your time back and get you in the perfect vehicle. Contact us to get paired with a guide today. Experience better at Anderson Auto Group.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
It's time for a home technology makeover. And with special Labor Day savings on top name electronics, you can take your home, backyard, or tailgate to an all-new level. Choose from top name TVs like Sony, LG, and Samsung, including Samsung's popular frame TV that blends seamlessly into your decor. Experience game day throughout your entire home with a new audio system from Sonos, now with special Labor Day bundle savings. Transform your game day this Labor Day with the experts at Schaefer's.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hey, bestie! Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too.
My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Jay Foreman postgame show. Sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Tavern 180, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman after game show brought to you by Vinnie Kreekak, Elway Sports, Anderson Ford, Tavern 180, and what's the other one? Tanner. Tanners and Action Plumbing. We got any callers?
Yeah, let's get some Matt Rule here. Let's get some Matt Rule. What we got here? Let's just start with a basic one. What does this win do or mean for the rest of the year? Here's what Matt Rule had to say.
I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's a referendum. I think last year had to happen so that this year could happen. I think that's a lesson I take with me all the time. Sometimes bad things have to happen to you so that the old you can die and a new one can be born. So a lot of guys that, chose to come back and play with us this year, go through the struggle. They came back. A lot of young guys didn't have a chance to really play. We won the turnover battle for the second week in a row. I don't know that we turned the ball over. We had a block punt, which obviously isn't good enough, but so we have to keep getting better. Right. But this was a big moment, so it was really big for us to show up and not back down from their stars because we're a little different. Our team is our star. Right. And I know Dylan's getting a lot of publicity and we have a lot of guys who could be stars. Our defense is a star. So everyone kept talking about this guy, that guy, that guy. And I kept saying, hey, they're forgetting our defense. They're forgetting the black shirts. And had we not had that block punt, lean to that field position and then that tough targeting call, they wouldn't have scored today. And so even at the end, we chose to take a knee. So it was just kind of an overall win. But, hey, we got to play again next week. We got a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's got a lot to teach off of, a lot to coach off of. And, I think sometimes it's a good thing, or not a good thing. Obviously, you want to win. They probably, if they played a really clean game, they might could have won, 45-0, probably 42-3, something like that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he just mentioned that block punt targeting, the bang bang plays, right, which we've seen in the past. So it happens in the past, then it starts to like go downhill, right? Well, then once it goes downhill, we've never been able to recover. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, 2 bad plays and it leads to 6 or whatever. So, like you said, you're not going to fix it overnight. I think everybody wants the instant fix. Like, okay, you go for this is obviously over exaggeration. Well, last year against Colorado or a team, say you have 5 turnovers, then you want to go 5 years without a turnover.
Yeah.
So you got to continue to push it, put it in perspective, and continue to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things all correctly. Double back because you're going to take a couple steps back. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then when you do that, then you're going to get some confidence of it. But it's a good thing for him. He's got a good teaching tape, good acting tape, and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's a good thing as a coach. You get their attention come Monday or Tuesday, whenever they practice. 3 goals for every week. Here's what Matt Rule had to say.
Yeah, we have 3 goals: win the turnover battle, be the most physical team on the field, and have a culture of execution. There was a ton of penalties. Just a ton of penalties. And we have the iPads now. I looked at a lot of them. We'll wait and see. I was disappointed. We didn't get many calls going our way. It's a Big 12 crew, so I can't get fined by them, I don't think. So I'll say that. So there's a lot of things to fix, but I thought we were really physical, and I thought even that first run, again, I hate that Shiloh got hurt, but, I thought Dowdell set the tone with his physicality, running the football. And But we are a physical team. We might have some areas that we have to improve on, but we are a physical team.
We saw Nebraska really go towards a 2 running back rotation tonight with Dante Dowdell and Ramir Johnson. Right, this is something that the staff also talked about, that it would sort itself out over time. It's going to sort itself out. What did you see from Dante Dowdell? Because he looks like, through 2 weeks at least, RB1.
Yeah, he's he's taking the bull by the horn. I mean, obviously he's getting an opportunity, and I think those opportunities come from what you do in practice and in scrimmage situations or whatever. And so, I mean, today, listen, he was hitting the hole, and there was no fair dodging. I mean, that one
he was leaning into it.
Yeah, well, that but one big run. There was no. I'm not shaking and baking. I mean, he was there. Looked like he was trying to set the tone. And he did set the tone. I think it inspired everybody, and then Ramir did his thing. And so, I think it might be a little bit of game plan, and I think him is going to, whatever he needs to work on, I'm sure, the way he's built, he's going to continue to work at it. And then, he's going to be called upon as well, just because that's the way it is playing running back. You're going to need more than 2 running backs. Very rarely do you go through a whole season with everybody being clean. So you don't wish any harm on anybody, but you also know that you got to stay ready. And so when you get your chance, you got to take the most, best advantage of it.
Should we have the conversation on special teams before we get out of here? Is it the time of the night to have a conversation on special teams? Because there was a bright spot. Well, Brian Buschini was pretty good tonight in the times that he was called upon, right? He had a couple that were inside the 20s, some that were inside the 5-yard line, especially in that first half. Return game hasn't been an issue. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda's been serviceable in the punt return game. But kicking, it's another missed field goal for Nebraska.
Yeah, I think you got to have a little pause for the cause. I think from what I know, right? I think the kicker's coming back from some sort of ailment, right?
Yeah, had a minor, what the staff called a minor groin surgery in the offseason.
So he's still working himself back in the. And I want to give him a little bit of grace, and stuff like that. So I think he's going to be fine. Obviously, when you're a kicker, it's no different than being a corner. You could play good and get beat once, and all of a sudden you suck. And then if a kicker, you don't get a lot of opportunities. Make it. Now it probably was a makeable kick.
Yeah.
Right.
32 yards.
Right. So it's something that you got to, and he's good enough it's not a talent thing. He just got to get the reps up and get the confidence back. And the only way you do that is continue to work at your craft and practice mental training, visualize stuff, so forth and so on. Look, we've been around here where we, we have a history of great kickers, great moments being a kicker. And we got to just keep at it. You can't sit here and, we missed the kick, so now what are you going to do? So you got to give him a chance to work out of it. But also, I would say this. For the punt team, they had a real good sky punt, and I call it the gunner, came down, kind of went through the block and had a really good tackle. That lets you know special teams, which was an issue for years, coverage, X, Y, and Z. Obviously, they, worked on that as well. So they must have been working at it tangibly. What I mean is they're actually going out there and playing football and playing special teams at some point in practice.
We haven't dove too deep into defense, at least so far. We got a couple minutes left, obviously, in our portion before we hand it off to Austin and Chancellor. But the defense, right? There wasn't many big plays given up, which is something to kind of hang your hat on, maybe against this offense, against some of their skill players that they have. The biggest play of the first half was the kick return. But ultimately, it ended, I believe, in it was a turnover on downs. So it was still null and void, no points out of it.
Yeah, look, they got a horn back there. Anytime they can get the ball in his hands, he's dangerous. On that kick return, the coverage wasn't completely bad. He just was really, really good. It was blocked up well, and it was a good job by number 90 Hall to hawk him down. So that lets you know he got a little athletic ability for a kicker.
Yeah.
And then we used to call it sudden change. That means sudden change, flip the field, you go out there, turnover and downs, and pretty much shut down any momentum. This is the growth that you have to. You could talk about obviously the penalties. There's not a coach in America that's going to be like, okay, we won, and a great job with the penalties, guys. You know what I mean? That's going to be first and foremost. But when you have growth, tangible growth, sudden change, physicality when called upon, turnover margin, so forth and so on. You got to be excited. And then as far as the defense, look, you have that type of offensive firepower in a team that could not run the ball against you, wasn't physically equipped to do so, wasn't even game plan equipped to do so. It wasn't even, they were just like going through the motions trying to run it, in my opinion. And then they're going to get some plays on you. They're just too good not to get plays. They have too many wide receivers to get plays. And so I thought it was good. The explosive plays were at a minimum, I'd like to think. And, that's so, you got to get ready down the road. Now, this doesn't mean that everything's fixed. This means you have a good starting point. And I would like to say this is your ceiling, or like this is your floor.
Yeah.
Once this becomes your floor, then that ceiling gets so really, really high because you're going to continue to raise the floor. And so they should be happy with the victory. Anytime you win a football game around here, you should be happy. Now, what you do after it is actually probably as important, as important than what you did tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because look, as great as it was, building up to this game, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's over. The game's over.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not this.
And there was a lot of buildup.
Right. This game's over. You got people walking around. Right. This is we're not used to this, but the game's over. Right. And this is not being Debbie Downer, but the game is over.
Yeah.
So that means you have to turn the page sooner than later. That doesn't mean not be joyful and be happy, but the page got to be turned because there's only 12 pages in this season. We read them both without too many hiccups.
How about this? Nebraska sacks Shedeur Sanders 6 times tonight. I didn't even notice this until I just saw it. Nebraska didn't allow a sack tonight. Nebraska's offensive line didn't allow a sack to Colorado. Dylan didn't get. He had that one nice scramble, right? That
he got hit a couple times.
He got hit a couple times, but that's important.
And 35 could rush. He's a flat out good pass rusher.
Yeah.
And they did a good job on him. And Turner Corcoran did a really good job. I felt like look at these last 2 games, he's played pretty good. I think that Nebraska beat him up enough to where they didn't really. They got worn out a little bit. They weren't a very big defensive line, as you could just see by their lack of stature or whatever.
Yeah.
But what they do offensively, there go Coach Brown right there. But what they do, which is really, really good, is it seems like they always got an outlet. Dylan knows where to go.
Yeah.
You get close, ball's out of the hand. You can't hammer the quarterback like when I played, where you could start making some deposits on them. So that's also when they had the roughing the passer on actually a really good pass rush.
Yeah.
Was it roughing the passer? Not. That's subjective, right?
Well, Nebraska fans know now. You can't just lay. You can't have open season on a guy. We saw Mekhi Bear get tossed when he did that against Shedeur.
That one, yeah,
questionable.
But
still, I'm saying that's how tight to the extent of what they're calling.
Right. But also I think Dylan does a good job of controlling the pace of the game, and he's okay with the thing that's been impressive. It's only been 2 games, right?
Yes.
He's not overzealous. He's not here worried about his stats, because generally with a young guy, he's trying to go deep. He's trying to throw it deep every chance. It's calculated. Hey, listen. The one to Lloyd, that's got to be caught.
Whether it's laid out, you got to just catch it.
You'd like to, and he's fast enough. But then the one last week to Nair, right?
Yep.
That be caught. Even the one to Fedoni, I felt like it was offensive, or was it pass interference? That was on time and on target, perfect trajectory. So he's doing some good things. As far as getting guys, pushing the ball downfield, but then also doing a really good job of kind of just picking you apart too.
Yeah, Dylan Raiola, 23 of 30, 185, and a touchdown. No picks, most importantly. How about that one for Nebraska's offense? All right, last thing I want to talk to you, go back to the defense, specifically the defensive line in this one. Matt Rule was asked about the impact of the defensive line, and he also had a little bit of a blurb about Ty Robinson, so here's what he had to say.
I think we have good players. I just think we have really good players. I haven't seen the tape yet, so it's hard for me to say what happened. But we have really good players. They execute a really difficult scheme that requires a lot of thought and a lot of teaching. And We think we have 5 or 6 or 7 starters on the front D line. I think MJ and Prince Will are interchangeable. We put Willis in at the end. He gets a sack fumble. I mean, we got really good players. It's a credit to the guys.
And then here's what he had to say about Ty Robinson, who blocked the field goal. It initially was Deshaun Singleton who got credit for the block, but it turned out to be Ty Robinson.
Honestly, sometimes I want to say I told you so. Like, I kept saying how good he was, and everybody kept saying, well, it's stats. I'm like, I'm just telling you. And so, like, he's a dominant player. Every scout that comes in, I'm like, I'm just telling you guys, he's a dominant football player that can play 4 positions, and he plays hard. He about broke my neck walking down the thing because he was so happy that we won. He grabbed me, and because he's one of the guys who came back. I love him. I'm proud of him. So, that's why I'm not doing a big referendum on it. To me, this was like my guys. I said something on Tuesday press conference that no one really picked up on. I said, hey, I think Sam asked me about Shedeur saying what he said about me, and I really didn't care. I had a great visit with some of those guys before the game, but I said, hey, you know what? He's defending his father. My son would too. And I said, I think I got some guys in there I think will too. And I love Ty. I love Jamari. I love those guys. This has been one of the best experiences of my life coaching these guys. So I'm happy they had a chance to get a win, and they're going to come in on Monday and they're going to think it's the worst game they ever played. And by the time we're done, and we'll get ready for next week.
6:30 kickoff before they face University of Northern Iowa next Saturday night. What's next on the docket?
Onward and upward, man. You got to get better. You got to, kind of just hone in on the things. You got to continue to excel at what you do well, right? Probably running the ball, being physical. No turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And continue to work on your passing game defensively. Obviously, just get inching towards or take a big step to being dominant, and then obviously special teams picking up as well. So I mean, it's business as usual. There's no week off.
Nope. There you go.
That game.
There you go. Nebraska 2-0, 28-10 over Colorado. Jay.
Hey man, listen. I know they're going back to Denver or Boulder with that fresh ass kicking. That's one right for people out there. That's a fresh ass kicking right out of the box.
I saw
still on.
I was right outside their tunnel when they were coming out. Never seen so many cameras, so many people just standing around with jobs that you don't think are even a thing at the college football.
I'm a little upset, man. Anthony Pass is their trainer, man. I hit him up, man, and he's salty, man. He ain't hit your boy back. He used to take my feet in Buffalo, man. He helped me, man, with my first little ankle sprain.
Well,
he couldn't even hit your boy back. Tried to find him out after the game. He just rolled out like Optimus Prime on me.
Here's the thing. Nebraska, they lost to Colorado in 2018, 2019, 2023. Here you go. Nebraska finally got him. 28-10. All right, Jay, take us out of here.
Hey, we're out of here, man. I'll tell you what, Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Thank you all the sponsors and also the text line. Fans, be safe. Have fun.
Looks like traffic's still out there.
Yeah. And listen, we'll be back next week after victory, too. It's on and popping.
There it is. Austin and Chancellor up next.
Yes, sir.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too.
My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
This is Chris Elgert, loan originator at Lincoln Federal. With over 20 years in the industry, I have found it's extremely gratifying to solve my customers' home financing needs and then show them the options and strategies available for them to fulfill their goals. But my biggest reward comes when I watch my valued customers experience the American dream of home ownership and move into their new home. Talk with me about your home loan at Lincoln Federal and Go Big Red. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Personal banking like you remember.
Fall is the perfect time to work on outdoor projects. Whether you plan to install a fence or add shrubs to your landscape, don't risk an injury by hitting a buried power line. Always call 811 before you dig.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
At Anderson Auto Group, we know your time is valuable. That's why, as part of our Experience Better process, we're pairing you up with a guide. It's one person dedicated to helping you from start to finish, making the process faster and easier. No more waiting, frustration, or spending countless hours at the dealership. At Anderson Auto Group, we want to help you take your time back and get you in the perfect vehicle. Contact us to get paired with a guide today. Experience better at Anderson Auto Group.
With a wide variety of menu options, including the best prime and Wagyu steaks in Lincoln, if you haven't been to Tavern 180, you're missing out. Try any of their steak options paired with one of their well-known martinis, and this will soon become your favorite date night spot. Call your friends for a casual get-together where steak, shrimp, chicken, and tasty cocktails await your arrival. Tavern 180, located next door to Tanner's at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Mindel Footwear is your solution against sore feet, blisters, and poor footing. Don't just take our word for it. Take it from Sip, who said he's never had a pair of boots more comfortable. You won't find Mindel Footwear in any store, sold exclusively at MindelUSA.com right out of Sidney, Nebraska. They're so confident you will enjoy the comfort their boots offer. If they don't work out for you, they'll cover the shipping to return them. Use code THETICKET for free shipping because your feet deserve a treat too. Mindel boots, just try them on.
It's time for the Jay Foreman postgame show.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
A look to the left, and he kind of telegraphed it all the way. When the ball was tipped, Foreman's in the right spot.
Sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Tavern 180, Vinny Krekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
Here's Fuente dropping back, fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Black Shirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
No Jay Foreman, no Nick Sainer, and it's Austin Norman and Chancellor Brewington taking you through the next little while here. Still taking your text at 402-464-5685. Big thanks to all the sponsors here on the postgame show. Anderson of Lincoln, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinny Kreekak of State Farm, Action Electrical Heating, AC, and Plumbing, Tanner's Bar and Grill, as well as Tavern 180. 28-10, Nebraska takes down Colorado. Chancellor, let's just start your takeaways. It's 28-10. We have one side of people saying, it should have been more. Some people saying, hey, it's a win over Colorado. Celebrate it. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I'm somewhere in the middle, and I'll tell you why. I'm happy with a win. A win's a win. We needed a win. We need to go 2-0. Next week, we need to go 3-0, of course. But I'm also on this side of, I was expecting, 28-0 at halftime. I'm expecting at least 50 points. At least. I thought we were going to get in the 56 range. At least 40, I should say. 40 safe. But I think it goes to it's a testament to first the defense, the way the D-line came out and played. I'm sure Jay talked about the way Ty played. I mean, specifically Ty. He set the tone early. We heard some interview from him saying that he wanted to for his name to be remembered in this game because he didn't get to start off first half last year.
We got that quote. Let's play it from Ty Robinson right here.
Yeah, I knew how I was going to be approaching this game. Last year they didn't get all 60 minutes, but I knew this year I was going to make sure they knew who I was all 60 minutes.
Exactly. So just hearing his mindset before the game, I mean, what his mindset was before the game, and him accomplishing that and going in and getting the first pass deflection, then getting a sack, and then I believe a couple drives later, getting a sack again. So it starts. I said this, Austin. I said it's going to start with the D-line. It's going to start with the D-line. The D-line going to have to do its job with Shedeur, because Shedeur will be Shedeur. And we saw moments of Shedeur. Shedeur didn't play awful, right? I don't think he played awful. I think there's questionable decisions. I think the pick six wasn't really on him. I'm going to be honest with you. I think first it was on I think the receiver ran a terrible route, and he was expecting him to break at a certain point. And I think the play calling was questionable for Colorado. And I also think Colorado's decision-making from a coaching staff, looking back, I just got a chance to watch the tape one more time right after the game. I thought the coaching staff made some questionable decisions. You kind of saw the level of coaching from Nebraska to Colorado. And shout out to Tony White. I mean, incredible play calling game by him. The adjustments he made, we talked about earlier that he was not going to he didn't send any blitzes last week. And now we see just a plethora of blitzes, having James Williams on the field, Cam Linhart, Prince Will, MJ, sending them in all these different ways, bluffing a guy here, stunts here, all these different things containing Shedeur. So I just thought it was a fantastic performance.
By the defense, let's talk about the offense here, because I'm with you. You get 28-0 at half. Colorado is showing, very little ability to slow Nebraska down. How much of the blame goes on the players for maybe, letting off the gas, coasting, not staying locked in? How much of that is maybe Marcus Satterfield and other coaches saying, hey, we want to keep it vanilla. We have a lead. We think we're good enough at our base stuff. We're not going to get as creative in the second half as we were in the first.
Yeah, so I'm frustrated. Austin, I'm going to be real with you. I'm frustrated because I am one of those guys who thought it should have been a 40-point game. And so when I look at it, okay, we scored 28 points in the first half, got super creative, downhill. Dante Dowdale ran really good. Dylan had some good throws, was super creative outside the pocket, kind of had a fluke touchdown with the Ramir. Probably should have been a pick, but hey, football guys was on our side today, right? So 28-0, you go up quick, going into halftime, we get ball back, and it kind of seemed like we didn't really know what to do and didn't really have a spark. The spark was gone. So I really don't blame that on the players. I think maybe just a strategic game plan going into the second half. Look, okay, Austin, we're up 28. This is why I'll be saying to the offense, we're up 28. Okay, we need to get the run game established. We're going to go downhill. We ran counter good. We ran, duo good. We ran the run schemes we ran good in the first half. We're going to get back to them in the second half. We're going to add a little wrinkle. We're going to add a motion in here. We're going to add a reverse, or they did that, but other things, right? And so when I look at 0 points in the second half, I don't really look at it as the players. I think it's just a coaching thing. I think when's the last time Nebraska got up like this and had to sustain a 28-0 lead, right? So I think it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson. It will be a good reflecting point because I'm sure we'll be up 28-0 next week, right? So when we go up 28-0 next week, we'll know, okay, look, we need to establish a run game, right? We need to know how to pass when we're up. That's a good thing. We didn't know how to pass when we're up. It's different passing when you're up 28-0 than when you're passing when it's, 14-14, right? How aggressive you need to be changes. It just does, right? And so the order in which we run and pass plays. Do we like to run on first down? Do we like to run on second down? Do we like to throw on first down? What type of throws do we like? What does Dylan like, right? So I think it's a combination of the offense coordinator has to get in alignment with Dylan, and Dylan or the run game has to get in alignment with the OC too. So just a bunch of communication things. But I would have loved to see at least 38, 40 points being scored in that game.
One touchdown in the second half, and if Alvano hits the field goal, there's 38 right there. Let's hear from Matt Rule about the play calling. It's about a minute and a half cut from the Husker head coach. What was his mindset in the second half, especially as it relates to QB1 and Dylan Raiola? Here's Matt Rule.
Yeah, it wasn't really about him. It was just, honestly, at the heart, I mean, you're not going to have a lot of games like that in the Big Ten where you're like, hey, they can't score. So if they can't score, what do you do, right? So again, I was pushing us on offense to be aggressive. Again, you take away some of those penalties, and we are pretty aggressive, right? And we had some mistakes, right? We call a counter, the guard doesn't pull, or something that happens wrong, and we get hit for a loss. And we have to get a lot better in the field goal game. Like I should be able to kick those field goals, and so we have a lot of work to do. The snaps still aren't. We have some things to work on, and that's not calling anybody out. That's just coming out of the game, like game flow. Hey, let's just add 3 points here. Let's add 3 points there. But a lot of those penalties really hurt us. That'd have been a 300-400 yard rushing game if that long run and all that, because I think we finished with 185. So, I forgot. I'm sorry, Sam. I forgot what you said. I'm pretty excited right now.
And I was trying to, make sure he didn't throw an interception.
No. I mean, we they were bringing a ton of heat. We were having a hard time picking up. They were bringing everybody, right? And we got some DPIs. We took a couple shots. We were just, think back to the one goes off Thomas's hands, one goes off Jalen's hands. We hit Jalen on the one, so we let him let it rip. But hit the seam ball, backed up. We were backed up at 2nd and 20. We throw a seam ball to Borkacher. So I didn't think we just overall just kept trying to find, because we got up to 75 yards rushing right off the bat. And then they just changed everything. When Shiloh went out, they started playing some cover too. They started bringing some different pressures, and defense scored, and just felt like we got a little discombobulated maybe. But I'm going to put the ball in Dylan's hands. I trust him.
Coach, speak your truth, Chancellor.
Man, that's good. That's really good. There's a few takeaways. That last statement, we trust Dylan, putting the ball in his hands. I mean, the way he carries himself. Me and you got to watch the game together, and the first thing I said was just his eye, the look in his eyes. I could just tell he's ready to play and he's locked in. There's like he said, they go to a different coverage. Shiloh comes out. They go to a too high shell. It's a lot harder to run the football with a too high shell, just because of run fits. So I understand that. But there's still got to be some creative pieces that you get to in the second half, because let's say this happened against Illinois, coming up, this is not going to work, right? No. Their offense is too good. So we're just gonna have to find ways to move the football, and I think we can. I think it's just creating an identity for this offense, knowing who our third down targets are, knowing the concepts that we like, the concepts that Dylan is comfortable with. The concepts that fit our personnel, because there's sometimes, sometimes there's routes that you call that aren't really don't really fit our offense, right? But then that's just a combination of learning the players. This is a first time, Bonner's in the slot, right? Just Banks is first time, playing with Nebraska, and they are first time. So everyone's getting acclimated with each other. There's going to be some times where chemistry's off a little bit, but we'll get it right.
You mentioned a couple times sitting in back watching the game that Nebraska wasn't creating separation and on the routes. That was an issue last year. We heard Matt Rule say in the offseason they weren't getting off of press coverage, especially by the end of last year. Was that a credit to Colorado or something that Nebraska needs to work on more?
Yeah, I think a little bit of Colorado. I think they do have a decent secondary. But yeah, that was something I saw, when they got to third down situations, even the obvious pass downs, they just went man, and it was hard for Nebraska to separate. What I mean separate is simply just the receiver gaining distance from the defensive back so Dylan could throw the ball to him. So that's something I want to see. And there's ways to combat that, right? If guys aren't getting open, we can call man beaters. We can call a bunch of crossing routes. If you ever watch the Chiefs, that's what they love to do. A bunch of mesh concepts, stuff like that. So there's ways to combat it. If the receivers aren't getting open, if that's our weak suit, we can combat that. So that just goes back to coaching and the adjustments that need to be made. But I'm sure they'll get it patched up. I just looking forward, I know for sure that if I'm a defense player watching or a defensive coach watching this game, I'm saying, okay, I think we can play man on them, right? So expect that moving forward. So the way to get a team out of man, Austin, is to beat them deep, right? So that's the way to combat it. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this offense evolves.
Longest pass completion of the day for Nebraska, 36 yards to Jalen Lloyd for down to the 1 yard line that Matt Rule mentioned. Second longest to Nate Borkacher on that seam route, 2nd and 24.
And that's
Nebraska
late in the game.
25. Yeah.
And that's super late in the game, right? And that seam ball, I really like the poise from Dylan. I mean, when you look at the tape, he's doing some really good stuff. And even the ball to Jalen Lloyd, I mean, that's kind of a no-no, right? That's a rolling out to the right, throwing back to your left. But those type of plays, Austin, where it's like you see those type of plays where you see it on you see it in game, you're like, dang. And then you correct it in film, but you don't say nothing in the moment because it's kind of just like when it works, it works. When it doesn't, you get yelled at, right?
Part of the reason they trust him, right? They're going to let him throw it.
Exactly.
And then once he doesn't get away with it, hey, there's the teaching point. The other one that I think comes to mind with Jalen Lloyd is the near touchdown. Nebraska, that would have been a long completion for a touchdown. I thought that was a great call at a great time for Nebraska there.
Yeah.
Even the deep shot to Fedoni, where there's the pass interference call, gives Nebraska the ball with goal to go. And Jamal Banks, they threw a couple up. It looked like just kind of trying to get pass interference there. So no, Nebraska didn't complete a lot down the field, but I don't think it was for a lack of trying necessarily.
Right, for sure. I think they definitely tried. I mean, there was multiple attempts trying to complete something down the field. I saw a good play by the receivers. I'm not saying anything was bad. Definitely need to clean up some holding calls. There was a couple where they were like, "Hey, that's holding," but there's a couple where like, "Listen, like I don't know what y'all seeing out there." But I mean, as a Nebraska fan and as a former Nebraska player, you kind of expect those things, right? Moving forward. So I guess moving forward, we got Western Illinois, I believe.
Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa coming in
Same
next.
color scheme.
Northern Iowa coming in next. So what I would like to see from this team, and I know we'll talk about it all week, but what I would like to see from this team is just finish the second half. Simple as that. Simple as that. Finish the second half and put 4 quarters of football on tape and see what happens, right?
For sure. And I mentioned this with Nick a little bit. And I want your thought on it as well. If you tell me that Nebraska wins this game 28-10, Matt Rule's never going to be disappointed with a 3-possession win over a team like Colorado. But I think the Matt Rule style would be, let's score a touchdown every quarter. Let's be consistent. Let's avoid a run, right? Defense, put points on the board if you can. That's all fine and good. But I think this was still a Colorado style of game with a Nebraska final score, right? Because Nebraska had those 2 runs in the first, the run in the first, the run in the second quarter. And then it was just kind of stuck in neutral. Credit Colorado, obviously stuff to clean up for Nebraska. How did the game feel to you? Did it feel even in the second half like Nebraska was playing a Nebraska style of game? Did it feel like a Colorado style of game? Is 28-10 accurate for how you felt the game was played?
Yeah, it felt like a bigger lead, to be honest. It felt more like a 42-7, obviously Shador had a good drive where he threw the out route to I believe LeJohntay Stewart or
Wester.
Wester. Yeah. So so he put a good drive together. But other than that, I mean, he was running for his life back there. He was running for his life, trying to make the most of it. The O-line he has, man, like if he has better O-line, this is a lot different game. But I also think it's how good our D-line played. But I would have loved to seen, like you said, even if you split up that 28, right? If you split up that 28 and just go 7-7, of course you want to get out early, right? But just the consistency of scoring would have been good to see, because it just adds elements to this offense and it adds confidence. And if we score a little bit more, maybe we get some young guys that get to go in there and get some more reps and game reps like we did last week.
Some breaking news. UTEP falls to 0-2. They miss a field goal wide left to tie the game in overtime, but an offsides penalty from Southern Utah gives them a second crack at it.
Wow.
Doesn't matter. Wide left twice in a row. So UTEP falls to 0-2. Let's talk about the defense here at Chancellor. 23 of 38 for Shedeur Sanders through the air, 244 yards. The touchdown late, the pick six to Tommy Hill, 61% completion percentage. He was on the run pretty much all day.
Right.
Travis Hunter didn't really kill Nebraska last year, 3 for 73. He had 10 catches for 110 yards on 14 targets. Wester had the 4 catches for 20 in the touchdown. Will Shepard, 3 for 59, the 30-yarder. But Jimmy Horn killed Nebraska last year, 3 for 26. They kept him pretty well in check. What did you make of Colorado? You know, they moved the ball at some points, especially in the second half, but the bend don't break sort of aspect of how Nebraska bowed up in the red zone.
Yeah, for sure. One thing about Colorado is their short passes is their run game, right? So when they throw these short passes, these bubble screens, these quick hitches out to the receivers, that's as if they're running inside zone. That's as if they're handing the ball off to the running back. Why? Because they don't really have a good O-line, right? They can't dominate the line of scrimmage, so they throw it out to their playmakers. So when you're looking at these stats, when you're looking at the Colorado game, okay, Travis Hunter had 100. Okay, but how many rushing yards did they have?
They had 22 carries for 16 yards if you factor in 8 sacks for -30.
Exactly. So if you see a lot of those passive, if you go and break down, usually you would see, let's say like, oh, that's usually a rundown. Usually we run the ball. Well, in Colorado's offense, since they can't run the ball, they usually throw the ball. So that's a lot of what we saw. When you look at Travis Hunter stats, I said you have to take away either Travis Hunter or Jimmy Horn, right? So it looks like they took away Jimmy Horn, right? And I think that was a game plan going into it, was take away at least one of those, right? So that we saw a lot of cover 2. And the thing about cover 2, you have a corner and a safety over top, right? So you're able to cloud an outside receiver. And you had Tommy Hill on Travis Hunter a lot. I thought he did phenomenal. I thought our backers played really good in coverage. I thought Gift played good in coverage. I thought Deshaun Singleton played good. I thought Marquise Buford, I think got beat on that one with Shepard, but overall played sound defense. I mean, there was holes, right? But it's just because Shedeur drops back and throws for, 38 times, right? So if he, I think he completes 22.
Yep.
20. So he has 20. Yep. Yeah. Right. So if you have a, future, top 15, top 20 pick, right, complete 22 for 38, right, you're winning that game. And that's exactly what Nebraska did. And moving forward, when we play these good quarterbacks, this is kind of that confidence. So I like this analogy, Austin. If our belief right here is a chair, right, and the top of the chair or the seat of the chair is that we're a good football team, that we're a good defense, right? We have legs that hold that belief up now. Why? We shut down Travis Hunter. We shut down Jimmy Horn. We shut down Shedeur Sanders. We shut down an explosive offense, right? And now we go into next week and we just keep building legs on that chair. We just keep building legs, keep building that belief up, helping that belief stand up to where when we go and play Ohio State, we know who we are. We know who we are as a defense and offense and special teams as well.
What did we learn about Nebraska today? What did the players learn about themselves?
Yeah, I think we learned that we can come out and fire. We can come out and fire. There's no lack of explosiveness. There's no lack of star power on this team. I think we learned that we're defense first. We start with the defense. We end with the defense. We saw that strip sack at the strip sack
by McGahee.
Strip sack at the end. And we started off with the sack by Tyrod, right? So we start and end with the defense. I think we learned that we need to be more. We can't let a block punt, right? We need to be more aware in the second half of just holes that we have, right? Holes in the offensive play calling, offensive identity late, being able to run the ball late. Obviously the block punt, the kick return, just little things like that. But I think we learned that we can compete with whatever level, right? And I don't think Colorado's a very good football team, but I think there was question marks, and I think this does a lot for the defensive backs too. There was question marks. Are the receivers able to match up with the defensive backs? This is and that, right? We held them to 22 for 38, right? This is just a little confidence booster going into next week.
Nebraska 28 and Colorado 10. A couple more things to get to before we get out of here, before the clock strikes midnight on Sunday. Someone on YouTube says, how about Ja'Cory Barney, that one-handed catch? Woo. It's been fun to see Nebraska trust a true freshman to make plays. They love the speed. They love the shiftiness. That's why you see him on those reverses, right? That was his first long catch. Then had the 57-yarder wiped out by one of the questionable holding calls there on Ramir Johnson. I love that the staff has a plan for Ja'Cory Barney. He's not the deep ball guy. He's a catch and run guy, and that's a place where they've identified this is his skill set. This is where we're getting him the ball.
Yeah, I think he's one of them guys where moving forward, you're going to have to find him. You're going to have to find him a spot on the field. Straight like that. You're going to have to find him. He's too explosive. He's too dynamic. He does too many good things, especially when we're fighting to to sustain an identity or sustain, drives and stuff like that. I think he's a guy where you need to find him a spot on the field, whether that's, sometimes moving Bonner out and putting him in slot, maybe putting him on the outside, having a package where him and Lloyd are on the outsides. We got the burners out there. Maybe Carter Nelson at the slot in that package, right? Just mixing some things up, getting super creative, because what I'm seeing with this offense and with this defense is that you're able to throw a lot of bodies in, right? The defense throw a lot of bodies in. Offense, we're seeing throw a lot of bodies in, right? So what needs to happen is there needs to be a system on offense that flourishes no matter who's in there, right? So it doesn't matter if Banks and Nayer is in there. There's a system in play, route concepts, pass protection, run concepts that are in place that no matter what receiver, no matter what running back is in there, it flourishes. We just need 15 back there. That's the guy we need, right?
Break down his performance here. I mean, on the day, 23 of 30, the one touchdown, no interceptions, 185 yards. This was a big stage, right? Amped up environment. His dad was talking all week. I never lost to Colorado. You can't lose to Colorado. Go out there and win the game. His dad beat Colorado by a combined 10 points in his 4 years.
There you go.
Dylan almost doubles that in one night here tonight. What did you see from number 15, both on the field and how he managed the emotions and the setting of the game?
Yeah, I think I was most impressed with his poise. I think he was most impressed with his poise and how he managed the game, how he managed the crowd. I mean, this is the atmosphere he just played in. I mean, the last 15 years, I don't think there's been an atmosphere like that. Most anticipated game. You're playing against prime on a primetime game. Everyone in the country is watching you. He handles it really well. You go, I believe you said 23 for 30.
Yep.
23 for 30, but let's really look at it. 23 for 30, but I mean, probably three of those were throwaways. A couple of those were probably throws where, guys weren't getting open, right? So, take away that, he's really like 25, 26 for 30, right? I really loved the way he played. I thought the only questionable ball was the one to Ramir, right? Ended up working, so we don't talk about it. We just delete it from our mind, right? But moving forward, I would love to see just his role. And I know it's strange. You're talking about quarterback's role in the offense. Yes, his role in the offense expand. I want a little bit more trust. I feel as if there's still a little bit of I call it like vanilla in the offense, right? Just a little bit of plainness in the offense, right? I want to see it expand. I think this Nebraska offense is best when there's motions, when there's movements, when there's shifts, when they're playing with the defense's alignment, when they're moving fast. I think that's when they're best. I think they're best when they're having Dylan roll out. He's outside the pocket, giving different looks. That's when I think they're best. So I want to see them get more into that. I don't want to see standard plays anymore. I don't want to see that. So moving forward, that's me personally, right? Because what I've seen is that when there's a bunch of motions, it messes with the backers. And Dylan does a really good job of playing on the run, playing on the move. And I think we have to use that. I think he has big arm ability, able to make throws to the field that a lot of quarterbacks can't make, right? So looking at his play today, I thought he played sound. I thought he did the best with what he was given. I don't think there was a lot of areas for him to, make a 50-yard throw and stuff like that. But I thought there was what he was given. I thought he managed it really well.
I know we'll keep talking about Colorado on these airwaves as we get into tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, before we turn the page to Northern Iowa. But on that topic, next week, final non-conference tune-up against an FCS team from Northern Iowa. Is that a week to throw some of your creative concepts out there, see what the guys can handle or not? Or is next week a vanilla week? You're working on the creative stuff in practice to save for Big Ten play?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line. I think you do get to some creative stuff. I want to see I want to see Heinrich out there with Dylan. I want to see Carter Nelson out there. I want to see more Jakari. I want to see Jalen Lloyd. I want to see fun packages. I want to see this offense take its new level, because I don't think you wait until Big Ten play to do everything. No, I think you throw it out all. I think you throw it out all on the table, and you see what you're working with, and then you learn from it. Because guess what? There's always new plays that can be made. There's always, I remember there's a story. Andy Reid got a play from a janitor and it worked, right? So you
Right.
can always think of new plays. You just got to get creative.
There it is. We will call it a night there. Nebraska victorious over Colorado. Final score 28-10. It's been a great day. Big thanks to all the sponsors here of the post-game show. Anderson Auto of Lincoln, Vinny Kreekak with State Farm, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Action Heating, Plumbing, AC, and Electrical, Tavern 180, as well as Tanner's Bar and Grill. Chancellor, it's been a full day of football. Go home, rest up. We'll do it again next week, my guy.
Yes, sir. Thanks for listening.
That'll do it for us. Ticket Weekends continues tomorrow on Sunday. Full day of shows for you. We'll be back with regular programming on Monday as well. It was a fun one. We'll talk to you again soon.